I mean, they shot the ball extremely well. I mean, that's not an easy team to corral. It's not an easy team to, to sit on. They move the ball very well. They set good screens. They have great shooters. I mean, and they knock down shots.
When a team's that hot, anything you can do to slow them down, or you just say that's Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, that's what they do?
No, I mean, you look at it. I mean, everything's fixable. So we just look at it and, come out the next game against them, make some adjustments, see how that works, and you just keep picking it apart.
I did the game with Michael, and he said several times during the game, he said, Kobe was super nice to Klay when he was growing up. Klay says Kobe's his favorite player. Do you regret being nice to him now?
No. No. I don't have many issues, with Klay because it's all, the same moves. I think he's there's not many players in the league that can shoot the long ball and post up and mid-range game. He can pull up left, he can pull up right, he can turn right shoulder, he can turn left shoulder. I mean, he has the whole package.
Well, part of it's his release too, right? Him and Steph both get it up about as quick as anybody in your league.
Yeah, I mean, they shoot the ball extremely well. They shoot it very quick, but they can also put the ball on the floor, right? And so it's not usual to see a player that can shoot the ball that well and be able to get to the basket and post up and do other things.
Especially in the West, that you're going to run into teams like this that are just offensively really tough to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you've kind of been exposed to it with this new group you've been working with, what do you want to work on in practice, starting on Saturday to kind of deal with that issue that we saw tonight?
Just strategy, just thinking the actions all the way through. I mean, we have a young group that, until now haven't really been challenged to process the game, as they play it, and we've just been accustomed to running and jumping. Now you got to really think things through and start looking at these teams and what they're doing offensively, how they're putting us in these type of positions, and just processing the game mentally.
Kobe, what do you think of Julius so far? Byron thought he was a little lost in that first half tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's still getting his feet wet, right? I mean, he's still kind of, getting used to the NBA game and the speed of the game, and the biggest thing for me is, to see him trust his jump shot. I think at this stage of his career, it's important for him to really start working on expanding his game early, and, facing up and, shooting the ball.
Kobe, it's a preseason game, but are you looking games like against a quality team like the Warriors just to see a little bit of a gauge of where you guys are right now?
No, not a gauge at all. It's a learning process. Like I said, our biggest challenge is, thinking the game from a strategic perspective. That's the biggest challenge because, like I said, these guys are really young, and the teams that they've been on in the past they've never had to do that, right? How to scheme as a group. That's the biggest challenge, just sitting down and watching film and picking things apart.
And what are you looking for out of your game right now in this preseason? What is it that you want to see?
Honestly, I feel very comfortable in my game. Very, very comfortable. I'll try and experiment with different things, just to see where it's at. But I feel more than comfortable doing whatever I want.
Byron told us before the game that he gave Steve a break tonight, and that he'd like to, at some point in the preseason, try and give you a break maybe and have you take a game off just to kind of pace this thing out. Are you on board with that?
That's fine.
Do you think it's, with you and Steve, maybe even Jeremy, with as much as you're working, do you think that's probably the way to go for the long season ahead and an older roster?
Yeah, I mean, it's just being smart and, making the right decisions and preserving our body. And, it's a long season, so it's just being smart.
Kobe, what do you think, or what were your early impressions of the backcourt with you and Jeremy?
I look fine. I mean, Jeremy's biggest challenge is that, which he loves, is that I'm really going to challenge him to be a great defensive player. Because he can. He has the speed, he has the length, he has the size. And, he's never had to take on that challenge, but I think he can be a great defensive player. And, in the second half, you see him picking up full court, and Steph made some incredible plays on him, which Steph will do, right? But the important thing is Jeremy's challenging Steph to do that, right? And from that perspective, you can continue to grow and figure things out as a defensive player. So.
Because there are some guys who can take the pressure you put on them. You want your teammates to be good or great. Can you get a sense of where these guys are at when you're trying to push them?
This is a really good group. It's a really good group. It's a very tough group, and it's a little different. My style with this group is a little more nurturing because they're so much younger, right? So it's a little different, but you know, the important thing with this group is learning, you know, how to think the game all the way through, which is different than the teams that we've had in the past. We have a lot of veteran guys who've been around, you know, so the teaching style is a little different.